Welcome into the banter.
Oh.
Connor's forgetting to change the light. Sauce, is this your first time on the banter?
No, not my first time, but it's my first time being on the other side of this desk.
There you go.
And I mean, it's different. It's
Come on now.
all these lights on me and everything. It's great.
Oh, come on. It's really...
There we go. There's the light.
There it is.
10
All right.
tries the time.
And before we get into the episode too far, I want to thank the sponsor of today's episode, Double G Craft Jerky. Double G offers, well, they offer more than jerky. We'll get into that in a second, but they have a ton of good jerky flavors. We're talking Hot Boom Sauce, Garlic Lover's Dreams, Nate Sexton Sweet and Spicy. That's their best seller. McBeast Barbecue is also a top seller. They have the original Smash Crack Pepper, Teriyaki, and Paul's Max Weight Original 6 ounce. A little more tender than the original. Double G also has a children's foundation, and every bag sold contributes to the promotion of disc golf to the youth. They've bought disc baskets for inner city children and have donated thousands to families in need of money for events. And in addition to that, with every bag of the McBeast and Max Weight sold, money is donated to the Paul Macbeth Foundation. They also offer 1 ounce bags, which are huge hits for players packs. We even give them out. We gave them out in one of our monthly subscription boxes a little while back. And they've now branched out into my personal favorite, trail mix, because I can't have the jerky, but I can have the trail mix, and it is insane. They also have dried fruit, a bunch of other different snacks. So you can head over to Double G Jerky, the link's in the description down below, and get 10% off with code Foundation. Again, that's 10% off with code Foundation over at Double G Craft Jerky. Links in the description down below. Thanks to them for sponsoring today's episode.
Have you seen their Instagram? I think they're coming out with a new flavor.
Are they?
So, yeah, they
I
were
need to check
trying
that
to
out.
get you to guess what player was the new flavor. But
It's going to be the Trevor Staub.
Apparently.
That's cap.
Oh, heck yeah.
And then it's going to be those little bottle caps. Did you ever eat those when you were a kid? They were little wax bottles.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I loved them.
And then you just chew on the wax.
You just chew on the wax. Why do we do that? Who let us do that?
That's like one of the weird candies that made it past the Great Depression and kept on going.
Yeah, you would just like you'd bite off the top, drink the
you
weird
drank
liquid in it, and then just chew on the wax.
Dude, you remember those? They're still around. I saw them in
They're
an
Cracker Barrel.
end cap of Walmart
Oh.
the other day. Not the bottle caps.
Oh.
I was talking about those what do they call them? The peanuts.
Oh,
Carnival
the circus
peanuts?
peanuts.
Circus
Or
peanuts.
circus
That's
peanuts.
They're styrofoam,
yeah,
basically.
Yeah, the ones that are. I don't remember what they taste like. I just know that I had a great uncle, like whenever I was a kid, that stayed at my grandparents' house in a camper, like for like a week because he was like visiting, and I went in his camper and he had them, and I ate them, and I mean I was a kid and it
Aren't
had
they like
sugar in it, so I
marshmallows?
thought it tasted. I don't remember what they taste like.
I don't know anything about them. I've
I think
tried
they're
them like once.
I think they're like marshmallows.
I think we need to get a pack of them, try them out. They can't be around for that long and not have something to them, you know.
Yeah, they could.
They could. You're right, because
They could just be
there's
really
a
cheap
lot
to
of
make.
candy that still exists that's
Yeah.
not good. I got bit on the back of the neck by an ant the other day. How did the ant get up there, you think?
Crawled.
I feel violated.
Maybe it was one of the flying ants.
One of the worst
Maybe.
bug bites I've ever gotten was, I think it was called a
The
soldier
bee sting that sent you
ant.
to the hospital.
I didn't go to the hospital. I went to urgent care. And that wasn't a bite.
Oh.
It was a sting. Completely different. I think it was called a soldier ant, but it was some type of ant in Australia. That was just, we were on the disc golf course, and I was just standing there talking to who, I don't even know who I was talking to. I was just standing there. Out of nowhere, it felt like I just got like stung. And I looked down, and it was just an ant on me. The ant was like big,
It's a big ant.
but it's just an ant on me.
That's crazy.
And it hurt so bad. And then it just started swelling up. And I was like, what the heck was that? And I said it's something to a local, and they were just like, oh yeah, that's a whatever ant. And they're like, yeah, they suck. I was like, what? Why
It
are
just
like,
happened.
Australia, the nature just wants to kill you.
Oh, it was in
All of it.
Australia?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that basically all insects are just massive in Australia.
Yeah, it was awful. It was cool. They had the kangaroo were like deer out there.
That's so
They're
cool.
just wild.
They're
Like,
just everywhere.
Kangaroo are like a really cool animal that you see like in videos and you're like, wow, they're so cool. Whenever you see them in real life, they're kind of scary.
It was a little scary. Yeah.
Their
went
tails-
Yeah,
to,
you think you could beat one up?
no,
Like, fight
definitely
it?
not.
Their
Definitely
tails
not.
are massive.
We
They're so
went
much bigger
to,
around. Like whenever you see a kangaroo like on its hind legs, it's like kind of magical and like cool. But then whenever you see a bunch of them just kind of like crawling around on the ground, they're like, you're like, this. What is this weird hairy
So-
alien?
We like saw one or two just like off in the distance, and we were telling the locals like we really want to see them, and locals there didn't really like understand because they're like, yeah, it's just a kangaroo. Like it's like people coming here and wanting to see white-tailed deer, and you're
yeah,
like,
like
all
we really
right.
you're like, okay, just
But
drive
they're
on a
like-
back road.
They're like, okay, well, if you go to the cemetery, that's where they all hang out at night. Like in the cemetery, they're like, you won't like it's just all kangaroos.
What is kangaroo up to?
And I was like, all right. So it was nighttime. It was me, Paul, and then the guys from Jomez. Hopped in the car, drove like 15 minutes out to the cemetery, and we pulled in. And as soon as you pulled in the cemetery, your lights just hit 60 or 70 kangaroo. Like they were just everywhere out
That's
there.
insane.
Like the whole cemetery. There was something in the cemetery they like to eat. And I don't know if kangaroo are nocturnal, but for some reason they came out more at night. Everywhere in there. And so we were just driving around, and like they were kind of used to people. So you like drive up. So I got out and got like as close as I am to Connor to one. And that's when I realized like their claws are like
They have claws?
long.
they're
Yeah.
like talons.
Like I looked at them like that thing could one hop and just swipe me and kill me.
yeah, they're scary.
And Paul was driving the car. And so I was like getting up and they were filming me. And I got like I said, like as close as I am to Connor, like taking a picture of it. And I was like, man, I should probably, what's going on in my head is like, I need to get back to the car. Like this is just a wild kangaroo. Something bad's going to happen. And about that time, Paul honked the horn. And I about crap my pants. I jumped because like it's just dead quiet. You just hear like kind of crickets out, and then there's just kangaroos, and the only thing I can see is just the high beams on this kangaroo, and he's like standing up looking at me like this. And then Paul honks, and oh my word, I turned and ran back, and they were all dying
That
laughing, of
is
course, because
so
they weren't the
funny.
ones staring at his claws,
Yeah.
thinking he can kill me.
That's like
Scary.
there's a lot of animals like that where you think like, oh, it's a magical sweet creature, and then you get up close to it and you're like, oh, I could die.
Well, that's
die
like
right now.
koalas, right?
Oh, koalas,
Yeah.
they're terrible.
Yeah,
well,
but they look all cute and cuddly.
koalas, they have one. I read in an article that like 95, it might be higher, where it's like 98% of koalas have
AIDS.
Yes, they have HIV.
Yeah.
And which is crazy. So if they bite you or anything, you can get AIDS from a koala. And they also have this like weird like orifice on their chest that just it like constantly oozes some kind of fluid. And that if you touch it or get or anything like that, the fluid is filled with so much bacteria that it will make you really sick and die. So that if any animal that eats a koala will basically just die because of the stuff on its like
But
That's
like
crazy.
the koala's already dead.
Well, at that point, yeah.
well,
So,
yeah.
like,
But they won't need another one.
Yeah,
oh, yeah.
They're
Save the
disgusting.
koalas.
Koalas
That's
are gross.
That is disgusting.
When your story reminded me of, I know that I told you this story, Hunter, but I don't know if I told Silas. I definitely haven't said it on the banter, but I like it reminds me of my experience with cows. Because whenever I was a kid, we had a farm, but it was like not like a production farm. Like no, it wasn't like to make money farm. It was just like we liked animals, so we had animals farm, and so we had 3 cows. Well, we had two cows, Chip and Oreo, no, Cookie and Oreo,
okay.
and then they had a calf that we named Chip. But I grew up with those cows, and we had them for like a really long time, and I was probably like 5 years old, and I would like go, like they'd be laying out in the pasture, and I would go like climb on top of them and like pet them and lay on them, and they would like stand up, and I would ride on their backs like around the pasture. Like these cows were just like big dogs. Like they were completely chill. I was never once threatened by them or anything. Like I would just pet them. I would like hold on to the bull. I would grab its horns, and he would like lift up its head, and I would hang from its head. Like it sounds ridiculous, but like so that's my experience with cows. That's how I grew up with cows.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
so then we ended up like whenever I was just barely a little bit older, like right before I went into middle school, we sold everything. And because my dad lost his job, so we sold like the whole farm and everything. And then fast forward to whenever I'm in high school, like my senior year of high school, whenever I'm really into disc golf, I'm hanging out with 2 of my buddies that like I always played disc golf with. And we are on a disc golf course, and on this specific hole, the OB is over the fence to a cow pasture. And there's like 20 cows just laying down like right on the other side of the fence. And so I'm walking down the fairway, and I'm like, look at all those cows. That's so much fun. I'm going to jump over and pet one. And my friend Matt is like, you're going to die. And I'm like, no, they're just cows. Like they're, again, in my head, cows are still puppies.
Yeah.
And so I climb over this fence, and I'm walking up because I see all these little calves and everything. I'm like, oh, that's so fun. I want to go pet one. And right whenever I get like to where I'm like, yeah, from my distance to you guys, like 10, 15 feet, a bull stands up and just like you can it doesn't have to do anything. You can look in its eyes and know it's telling you to leave. So this bull stands up and like faces towards me, and I'm just like, at this point I'm like, hey. But I'm like, okay, maybe this is a little, because they're big animals.
big. Yeah.
And this is
yeah.
the first, like, I haven't been like face to face with one without a fence in between me and them since I was a kid. And so I was like, okay, maybe it's fine. And he just goes and like gives me like a little kind of charge. And I like freaked out and like ran the other direction. And there was a little tree behind me, and I just hid behind the tree. And he did the thing where he kicks his foot like that. And I was like, all I have is this little tiny tree here. I am actually going to die right now. Like, I'm actually going to die. And he kicks, and I think he could see that I was like afraid, that I was intimidated. And so he just turned around and walked away. And then I sprinted and jumped back over the fence. We didn't talk the rest of the round because we were all like, they thought they were gonna watch me die. Like
It's gonna be one of those
terrifying.
like when you watch a rodeo and they like hit the rodeo clown, he goes like
Yeah,
flying up
yeah.
in the air. That's gonna be Connor, but in real life.
It's crazy.
Because rodeos aren't real life.
No, rodeos aren't real. Now I have a healthy respect for cows.
Well, I just Googled, found a list of 13 cute animals that'll actually kill you.
Ooh.
I
Number
love that.
1, I would argue with the cuteness, but we'll still roll with it. The pufferfish.
Okay,
They
they're
can
cute,
kill
they're
you?
cute.
So it says just look at his little face. Surely he can't do any harm, right? Wrong. The pufferfish
Wrong.
is in fact the second most poisonous vertebrae on the planet, and their venom
Whoa.
kills by paralyzing the diaphragm and has no known antidote.
Wow.
So
you can't breathe.
So
you can't
I'll
breathe.
go near those
Huh?
things.
If it paralyzes the diaphragm, you can't breathe.
No, yeah, you can't breathe. Yeah,
That's crazy.
And there's no
You
antidote.
just suffocate.
So you just like sit there and suffocate, and doctor will be like, well, you got pufferfished.
And meanwhile, he's
Get
just like,
pufferfished.
Yeah.
for
I don't
those
know-
of you audio listening, I puffed up my cheeks.
I don't know
really big.
how often pufferfish attacks happen. To
I just
people.
know
How
that-
how big are pufferfish? They're not that big,
They're-
right?
Like, when
That's
they puffed
that's,
up.
that's puffed up. Yeah.
Yeah, like puffed
Because
up.
I don't know. I have this like image in my head that they're like massive.
No.
They're little.
This-
They are cute.
the next one
I've seen
is
them in
the,
person. They're cute.
The slow loris.
It does take a lot to get a pufferfish.
I've seen the slow loris. I didn't know that's what he was
That's
called.
like the guy from Madagascar.
It's like a lemur.
Yeah, I would have called it a lemur. Slow loris are normally very placid, but you wouldn't want to get on their bad side. They can release venom from the side of their elbows,
What?
which
Do they
when
have
mixed
like they have like a talon there?
when mixed with their saliva can cause death by anaphylactic shock.
Oh
so
my
they freaking
goodness.
jab you with their elbow and then just like lick you and then you go into
Or
anaphylactic shock.
they lick their elbow and elbow you.
I
don't know.
That's kind of a sick superpower.
If you see them lick their elbow, run.
All right, after we read this list, you have to decide which animal you would most likely want to be.
Want to be?
You want to be this animal.
Okay.
Yeah. So far, the freaking lemurs got me.
Next up, you have the moose.
What?
When threatened, they're known to charge at humans with aggression and have caused many deaths and injuries. Yeah, well,
Okay.
moose are massive, so that
Meese.
doesn't surprise me. Meese are huge. Have you seen a moose?
Yeah, I haven't
Yeah.
seen one in person. No,
They're so big, like so big.
I believe that they're massive.
They're horses. They're
It's
horses that
crazy.
look like deer.
It's like yeah, that's insane.
Big cats, no surprise there. Lions, tigers, and cheetahs would
That's
eat
not
you given
surprising.
half the
Yeah.
chance.
Yeah.
Closer to home, North American pumas have been known to threaten lone hikers and children. Now, this is an interesting one. The cassowary, it's like this weird bird. I don't know.
It looks like a peacock without feathers.
Yeah. Found in the rainforest of Australia and New Guinea, the cassowary looks a bit like a flamboyant ostrich.
Oh.
And if
Oh, okay.
disturbed by a human, will become extremely aggressive and territorial. They use
Wow.
its large claws to try and disembowel its intended
oh my
victim.
gosh,
What?
it's kind of just like an ostrich. Ostriches are really mean too.
Oh, yeah, but it's
But they're-
flamboyant. It's a flamboyant ostrich.
Oh, woo, terrifying.
That's pretty cool.
Okay, this next one's way too
Have you
obvious.
guys seen the
a bear.
videos of people like putting socks over ostriches' heads so that they can like transport them?
No.
Because that's what they, in order to make them like docile, you like literally put like a sock over their head because if they can't see, then it calms them down.
Fascinating.
Yeah, just
and
like
so
the
like literally like
eagles
they
and
go
stuff.
up behind them, they're like, whoop, and they just like slip a sock over their head and they just grab onto their neck and lead them into like trucks and stuff like that. It's
That's
so
very
funny.
The next one's bears. That makes sense.
Yeah, what the heck?
I don't even think I have to read
Yeah.
that.
I mean, I'm not even dumb enough to try to pet a
Yeah.
bear.
The poison dart frog.
Oh, yeah.
In
yeah.
nature, bright colors generally mean I'm dangerous, stay away. And with its bright yellow skin, the poisonous dart frog is no exception. This little guy is one of the most poisonous creatures on Earth.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Those freak me out. It's the little small things that you think wouldn't kill you that scares me.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
scares me.
Next up, we have the giant anteater.
Oh, I
That's
didn't know
interesting.
they were
It
dangerous.
can't eat you.
No, it can't eat you.
What can it do?
They may look cute and cuddly. I would disagree with that statement, but when threatened, the giant anteater's powerful claws and teeth are
Oh,
perfectly capable of
really?
disemboweling a human, so
I
best
gotta
leave
look
him
up a picture.
his teeth.
Really?
That's
He must have a
crazy.
mouth under that nose.
Yeah.
Oh, next up we have the Wolverine. That makes sense.
What is that? Is that just a bear and a
No, it's a Wolverine.
Oh, Wolverines are scary.
what's?
It's a Wolverine.
Wow.
It's its own animal.
Yeah.
I thought this was made. I thought this was made up superhero.
Guys,
No.
guys,
That's an
guys.
actual
Somebody's
thing.
got to explain to me. I'm looking at pictures of giant anteaters right now. I don't see how this guy's biting me.
That's what I'm
That's-
saying. I don't
that's
know.
what I said,
don't know.
yeah.
But apparently its teeth can disembowel you.
They are very interesting looking, though. They're like giant skunks with really long noses.
They're not cute and cuddly. I'll
Oh,
tell you
this
that
is
much.
interesting. So
They're
Wolverine,
They're pretty animals.
the
though.
Wolverine's an aggressive weasel. So it's technically in the weasel family.
So it's
Oh,
small.
So
So
it's
listen to
basically
this.
like a giant rodent.
But its powerful jaws and claws are capable of taking down the moose.
What?
A Wolverine could kill a moose. That's how
That's
powerful they
insane.
are.
How does it do that?
Because it's so powerful, man.
I
How
gotta
is it
look up-
powerful?
I
It's
gotta
a
look up
Wolverine.
angry giant anteater. I gotta see its teeth.
Yeah.
Just search anteater teeth.
No, I want to see it angry.
All right. Next down, we have the leopard seal. Powerful and curious. This one cute predator you definitely don't want to take a swim with. They've known to be their second animal on their list. They've been known to actively hunt humans.
What?
So they won't like you
The
mess
seal?
with it.
They
the
just
leopard
coming
seal.
for
It's
you.
not like,
Dang,
oh,
dude.
don't
Coming
mess with
for
that
you.
because it might mess back. It's like, no, it will actively hunt you.
That's crazy.
Leopard seal.
Guys, I'm seeing something really funny right now. Right? So whenever I look, I don't believe their mouths are so little. The anteater.
Okay.
So is it
like,
just
they're-
taking a chunk out of you?
I don't like because like that whole thing isn't a jaw that opens up like an alligator. It's like it got a little mouth. So I don't really understand how that happens.
Okay,
Also,
how does it eat
they
ants?
are pretty cute. Well, they got big old
Through
long
their-
tongues.
Oh, it's the tongue.
They got a tongue
Okay.
that drops like they lift their head up and their
Yeah.
tongue can drop all the way to the ground.
Oh.
However, I am seeing multiple pictures of it. Seems like whenever they get angry, they stand up on their hind legs and just spread their arms all the way out. Like this.
Gotta search that.
And it looks
Like,
like
you want a hug?
Kind of looks like a fat drunk man, and it's really funny.
Here he goes, that guy.
Oh,
That is very funny.
he's just asking for a hug, man. Just come and hug
really
him.
funny.
Next on the list is the Gia monster, which this one I told y'all about when we were on the West Coast, and y'all
Okay.
thought I made it up.
Yeah, I remember
What-
that.
It's a lizard,
lizard.
type thing, but he's
Oh, it's
called
in the
the
same
Gia
family
monster.
as the Komodo dragon, right?
I think so. Yeah. He's pretty slow, but if he feels threatened and manages to catch you, he's capable of delivering a fatal dose of venom,
Yeah, that's nuts.
which makes sense.
Just run away.
Elephants. Elephants. They can stomp
They
you
just
out.
crush-
They can,
yeah,
there's
crush.
They're- those are-
many ways they can kill you.
They're
The
also-
last one on the list
yeah.
is monkeys and apes.
Yeah, dude, they'll frick you up.
Small bite from monkey can pass on
Planet
viruses
of the Apes?
such as
You ever seen
hepatitis C. So that's one of the most dangerous
Oh.
things they can do. They can pass on viruses.
So they also I feel like you hear like a news story like once a year of somebody who has a pet chimpanzee that they've raised since it was a little tiny baby, and then one
Turns
day
on.
it just freaks out and dismembers them.
Yeah.
Harambe, man.
Well, that's what orangutans and gorillas are obviously capable of mauling people as well, which that makes
Yeah, yeah.
sense.
Chimpanzees though, even though, dude. They,
All right, well,
they
that's the
mess people
list.
up. That's crazy.
I think I would like to be the Wolverine,
Yeah, that'd be cool.
You wanna
mainly
be the
because he
Wolverine?
looks sick. Look
Yeah.
at him.
He does look sick, but it's just a ferret at the end of the day.
Yeah, okay. Say that while I'm ripping you limb from limb.
Yeah, a giant moose.
How big's a Wolverine?
Silas wants to be a moose. He's already a moose.
I was gonna
Okay,
say.
so the Wolverine's between 20 and 40 pounds.
So
So
okay,
they're not-
a
they're not
little-
that small.
Yeah,
They're kind of big.
give it like a.
It's like the size of my dog.
Yeah. Whoa,
But they
really?
can kill a moose. Not Nova, the smaller one, Luna.
Oh.
She's like 45.
Okay.
So imagine if my dog, it's like a
like
medium-sized
medium-sized
dog,
dog,
could kill
yeah.
a moose, which is the size of a horse. I'll
Do you
be
know what?
Wolverine.
Do you guys
That's
know what?
true.
Do you know
What?
what English bulldogs were originally bred for?
They're like the royalty, right?
No, so English
Oh.
bulldogs, as in the
They were
really
hunters,
fat
right?
ones, they were bred for a sport called bull running, and it was a sport where they would have these dogs run after bulls, and they would take the bulls down. So English bulldogs were bred specifically with the rolls and everything, so that
How-
and the short snouts, so that what they would do is they would like run, get all around the bulls. They'd be able to get in front of the bull's face. This is according to multiple articles I read. I did a project on it in high school.
Oh, okay,
where
too.
so it doesn't sound possible to me, but again, this is just according to many different articles. They bite and latch onto the front of the bull's like nose until they take down the bull. But it's their face is the way it is, so they have the short snout so that they can do that, and then they also like the blood doesn't get in their eyes because it gets in it like their rolls helps it like get off of their face. Isn't that
That's
interesting?
gross.
fascinating.
Bulldogs are gross. I don't
Now,
like them.
so
I
we
love
hear
bulldogs.
dogs all the time. You hear like Vizslas were bred to be lion hunters,
Uh-huh.
and like every dog is bred to be X, Y, or Z, and they were
Yeah.
bred to have short snout. What do they mean?
Like how you
Like,
breed
how
them.
do you
Like,
make
how do you
a
breed an English
dog
bulldog
like
to
that?
have rolls and a short
Well,
snout?
so you'd pick. I want the characteristics from this dog. I want the characteristics from this dog. You would breed it, and
But,
they'd be like,
like-
that's close. So let's take that one and breed it with this.
But like,
and-
is that what the human behind it was doing,
yeah, I mean,
or were they just finding an animal that was really good at it and like it became better because of genetics? Like, what is
don't know.
bred to do something mean? Like, it was,
bred to do something means so breeding is
Yeah.
reproduction.
what I'm saying,
So
like,
if
is
you're
that
bred
what
to do something? Then it's
was
combined.
someone smart enough to think we need a dog with rolls in their face that when blood comes up it rolls off, or was the dog just like genetically changing
So
over
I think
time?
it's a mixture. I think it's a mixture because animals do adapt to like things that they're doing. That's why some birds have like really hard beaks because
Yeah.
of things they eat, and some have softer beaks, and that's why birds from 100 years ago look different than they do now. Like they do adapt to like what they're doing. So I think it's a mixture.
I've just always
But
wondered that.
specifically when we
'Cause,
say
like,
breeding,
Because they say dogs and they're
Yeah.
saying like they were bred to, and they list stuff that I'm like, there's no way a human sat there and was like, yes, now if we made that dog's nose a little smaller, it's gonna make it where you can't breathe as well, but it's gonna be better for X, Y, or Z. Like, I mean, I
think it
can't
makes
say there's
sense that
no
you-
way
'cause,
a
I mean,
human could do
humans
it,
decided they were like, let's
Yeah.
make a golden retriever that doesn't shed.
but like that makes sense because we're just solving a basic problem. We're like,
Yeah.
well, this dog don't shed and that one do. What if we mixed them? That's how I picture humans. Versus like,
Sounds
That
like in
right
your head
there.
there are only two options for humans.
well, but just like at some point things just become like it makes sense because the dog does it now. But they're like, did someone really sit there and be like, now if this dog was a really wrinkly dog, the blood would just roll right off him, right? Like that just doesn't make sense until it
I
happens.
don't know,
I
man.
feel
They were
like.
smart back then. They were just as smart back then as we are now. I would say
That's
more
why
so.
I'm saying they didn't do it. I don't know. I just always wondered that.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I have no idea. I wasn't there. I don't breed dogs.
Yeah. Well, like some of them make sense. Like you want what was it? Like those really big dogs that like
Like a
would carry
Mastiff?
barrels.
Oh.
They
Barrels?
like put a barrel around their neck. That's like what they're known for.
Oh, the
Saint Bernard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like those make sense. You want a dog that's as big and bulky and can like survive in cold temperatures because you're trying to get them to do this like mountainous journey and carry supplies. I can see where you want a dog with like thicker fur.
I think sheepdogs are a good time.
Sheepdogs
They
make sense
look
too.
like they
Yeah.
look like the happiest dogs in the world. I think every sheepdog loves its life.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever see like the
Well, I
the-
think it's because they're doing what they were like bred to do.
yeah, they're
Most dogs
fulfilled
aren't.
by it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very true.
'Cause that's like my
I'd
my
say
dog.
most dogs are because I think most dogs are just bred to be pets now.
No, but they still have that like nature
that
behind them.
instinct.
Yeah.
Like my dog, like Nova, she's a golden doodle. So basically, just means she's a really smart retriever, which gets her into a lot of trouble.
Yeah, a retriever that's too smart for it's good.
Yeah, the Bernedoodle, my other dog, we have allergies, so we get shedless ones. So the Bernedoodle, the Bernese Mountain Dog in her overpowers the poodle. So she's smart to know what you're asking, but she's too lazy to do anything about it.
That's hilarious.
So she'll like just sit there and look at you, and it's until you have to. And the breeder told us this, and I didn't believe him, because Nova gets the most joy when I'm happy with her. Like she will do anything just to please me
because
So-
loyalty is like her.
Yeah, 'cause
biggest
she's a golden
priority,
retriever. So like that's why she loves, but she's happiest when she's like in the backyard playing fetch, and she like brings it to me and I clap for her and tell her good job. loses her mind.
Yeah.
She's like, this dog, like she'll do it until she just like can't run anymore because that's all she wants to do. Luna, my Bernese Mountain Dog and Poodle mix, doesn't care. I'll throw something and she'll look at me like, well, what are you going to give me? What's in it for me? And that's what a breeder told us. They're like, to train her, you have to show her the reward first. Then she's smart enough to do it. Nova, you just teach her it. And like, if there's a reward, even better. So like you can farther incentivize it. And it's true. Like I'll tell both of them to sit and Nova instantly sits. Luna just stares at me. And then I'll be like, I have cheese. Sits right down. Immediately. Like, I don't have to tell her to sit again. She knows what I'm asking her to do.
Yeah.
She's just like, why?
Yeah.
Like that's her question. She's like, why?
That's crazy.
But because she's a Bernese, her innate things a Bernese Mountain Dog, which are not necessarily lazy dogs, but they're more like slower work dogs. They're kind of in the same category of like Saint Bernards, where they're like, they get rewarded from different things. They don't get rewarded from like praise like a golden retriever does. But that's why like Nova, similar to like sheepdogs. Like sheepdogs, my brother has a few mini Australian shepherds, and they will like try to herd his children. Not herd.
Yeah.
Like because like that's just what they do.
That's what Bruno does.
They just see
Like, get them
clusters.
together.
Yeah, and they're like, it is just their nature. They want to just herd things and get them moving in a direction.
That's what Bruno
so
is.
just like,
That's how Bruno is. So Bruno is an Aussie Doodle, so Australian Shepherd and Poodle, which is like two extremely smart breeds. So he's very smart, but he mainly is interested in doing things with you. Like he doesn't really care. Like he's now pretty good at playing with his toys. But really, if he's playing with his toy, he wants to play with his toy on top of you. Like he'll walk, if you're sitting there, he wants to walk over, lay his toy on your lap, and chew it on your lap. But like his mainly like he'll play fetch for like a little bit, but as soon as he's not interested anymore, you'll throw it, he'll chase after it, and then he'll just leave it there, and then you have to walk to the other side of the yard and pick it up. It makes me so angry. Well, because my parents have a golden doodle, and he like I would stand in my parents' backyard, throw a frisbee 300 feet for like hours.
Yeah, they just
and
go.
I'm having a great time because I'm practicing up shots and stuff like that, like with disc golf. And he will run and get it, and he gets to the point where he picks up the frisbee, walks past me, and goes and lays in the bushes to try to keep me from throwing
he's
it
like,
again.
please don't throw it again.
Yeah, but he has to. Like,
Yeah.
if I'm like, no, we're not done, and I go over there and I grab it and I throw it as far as I can again. And he's like, and he like just slowly trots it, but he has to get it. Bruno, you can be 2 throws in, and he's like, I don't really want to do this anymore, and he just leaves it. But if you run around, all he wants to do is he just wants to chase you, or he wants to be chased. And it's because he's got the Australian Shepherd in him, and like that's what he does, is he's supposed to round things up.
Yeah.
And so like if you run, he will just run around you, and that's like where he gets fulfillment. It's crazy.
Dogs be wildin', man.
Here's the part of the banter where we get weirdly serious. You find fulfillment in what you were bred to do.
Mm.
Is that interesting? So like eat a lot of bread. You're supposed to
I
eat
do
a lot
find
of
fulfillment in bread.
Yes, we're all bred for bread.
Love bread.
It's been a fascinating thing because, like, so I do not have a good diet by any means. That has been one of my struggles as I've been, like, slowly training. Right now I'm training for a half marathon and then the full marathon in January. And I get to, like, I'm running 35-ish miles a week right now. And so when I get to the later half, the long runs, I don't have good nutrition, so I don't have the energy to sustain myself. So I'm trying to figure that out. But by nature, I have a very carb-heavy diet, not a very protein-heavy diet because I'm allergic to red meat, and I don't really love... Like, I don't want to eat chicken for every meal. I just don't want it. Like, most breakfast proteins, I don't really like turkey bacon that much. I don't like turkey sausage, so I like eggs, but I don't want to get up and make eggs every morning, so I end up having carbs there.
Just drink them raw.
Lunch, no.
Down
Lunch,
the
I
hatch.
end up just having like a peanut butter and jelly or something and like some chips. And then dinner, I get protein. But protein's obviously really important for recovery and sustained energy and stuff like that. Carbs are good for running energy, but not necessarily over the course of a full week. And so I found like I'm supposed to have like 200 grams of protein a day. I'm getting like 75 if I don't think about it. So I have to like be really intentional. But then the other thing that's helped me, like I say helped me, is Luca is now in the stage of his life where he's getting away from bottles and he just wants food. And he really wants what we're eating more than anything. But the kid, like it must be like, it's obvious he's my son because it's in his blood. He doesn't want fruit. He just doesn't. Like, I don't know what's wrong Because like I was always thought, you heard me on this podcast, like what if I trained my kid to think that carrots were candy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not possible. We'll cut up like every morning. He would get up and he loves waffles. So I make him a little Eggo waffle and I cut up some type of fruit. Strawberries are the only one he'll eat. Originally, we were putting just fruit on his plate and we thought he just didn't like food. Because we were like, what is wrong? Like, he just won't eat. But we like didn't want to give him stuff that's bad for him because we're creating habits right now of what he's going to like long term.
Just not a fruit guy.
And I'll cut up blueberries and he'll pick it up and just look at it and just throw it on the ground and like keep reaching till he feels a waffle and then eat the waffle. And then he just like feels around. And strawberries he'll like eat sometimes, but if there's a waffle on the plate, he's going for the waffle instead. And like he just any type of bread, any type of bread he loves. So the only way we have to like, and this is how I always was as a kid, is like the only way I got my fruits and vegetables is like in applesauce or juice or a smoothie or and so we have to like just give him his little pouches. We'll like give him waffles, he'll eat that, and then he loves pouches, which are just fruit blended up. Yeah, basically go-go squeeze. And so he loves those, but like you cut up strawberries or apples or bananas or anything like that, and he's like, no. He just won't eat it.
Is
and
it a texture thing for you?
For me, no. Well, nowadays I eat it all.
Okay.
Like now I like it. Like,
okay.
But when I was a kid, I didn't like it. I think part of it was
because some of it's sweet still.
See, I think that was part of my problem as a kid was your taste buds. So obviously every 7 years your taste buds and everything change by nature. The cells in your body replace every 7 years fully. But your taste buds also adapt based on what you're putting in. So as I started running more, I've drastically reduced the amount of sugar I eat, like processed sugar. I don't give a frick about natural sugar because that's good for you. But processed sugar I've drastically decreased. And what I found is my taste bud palate has adjusted to where stuff that is by nature probably a little more acidic than it is sweet, such as berries, taste way sweeter. Because I'm not getting the like true sweetness. Like I'm not constantly eating Oreos and ice cream and stuff like that. I still eat that occasionally, but I'm not doing it like every day. So then by nature, stuff like a berry, like a strawberry tastes really sweet to me. But when I was a kid, it tasted bitter because I was so used to
sugar freaking dominates your taste buds.
Yeah. Well, it changes your taste buds fully to where like the more you cut that out, then fruit tastes sweeter. Like people used to, when I was a kid, people would tell me fruit was sweet and I didn't believe them because I was like, that's not true. Like a grape was like the only thing that was somewhat sweet to me, but like strawberries were so bitter, raspberries, blueberry, like oranges, apples I liked, but I would literally just go to a Granny Smith apple because all apples were bitter. That one was at least like a little sour to me, so I liked it. But it was because I was eating so much just like candy and junk food that stuff my like taste buds couldn't understand true sweetness that I was tasting because I was drinking so much fake sweetness or eating so much fake sweetness.
It's like I can like got myself really into like seltzer waters, and because it's like something I really like soda. I've always really liked soda. We never had it in the house growing up, so that's probably why I became so easily addicted to it whenever I could make my own decisions. And so
yeah, honestly, same.
Yeah,
like I never drank soda as a kid.
Yep. And so I just like became obsessed with soda and got to where like I just like needed soda. I'd wake up and be like, I need soda. Or if you finish a hot disc golf round, you're like, I need a cold Coke right now from Wendy's.
It's nothing like it.
Yeah, there's nothing like it. But then I got myself, I was like, there's so much of the unhealthiness that you eat is actually things that you're drinking. And like there's just so much sugar and that kind of stuff. It's just not good for you. But I like got myself into seltzer waters partially because I kind of think that people are cool when they drink seltzer waters, and I was like, I kind of want to be cool, and so I like didn't really like them. Like whenever LaCroix got really popular back in the day, I was like, I don't understand. These are disgusting.
Well, LaCroix sucks.
Yeah, it just I don't like. I'm not really into drinking
spicy
water
one
while someone
LaCroix
whispers in my ear tangerine. That's what they taste like. But then I just like forced myself to keep drinking them. And like made a hard, like we don't have soda in our house, so like just made a hard rule to where like if I buy a case from Sam's, I'm gonna drink it. I'm not gonna waste it. And so I just convinced myself that like I now like it, like I enjoy them genuinely. But now whenever like if we have like a party or whatever and we have got like soda left over, I'll like open a can of Coke and take one sip and be like, I can't drink anymore. It's like too sweet at this point. Specifically the cans, I feel like are like even more concentrated. So like I can't drink now I went back to being unhealthy for like a week because we went on vacation, and now I'm like, just give me that Coke, dude. But yeah. It changes fast.
I just started getting into seltzer
Bubblies are
waters.
good.
These are great.
Liz used to like LaCroix or claimed she liked LaCroix, but she would never really drink them. That's part of where my conspiracy theory is starting from. But like, there's some Polars that are good. I'm not a sparkling water guy. It just is like, if I would rather just have like a Mio in my water or like a flavored water. The sparkling just ruins it for me. Because if I want carbonation, I want sugar to cut through the carbonation. I don't want to just be hit with carbonation.
Gotcha.
But there's some that are actually like good because the flavor's there enough. Bubblies are one of them. Aha's one.
I like Waterloo.
Some Polars are good. I haven't had Waterloo. But when LaCroix was first getting started, I felt like LaCroix was it was like the strongest carbonation to little flavor of them.
It was also just the most trendy one.
But I think most people didn't like LaCroix that drank them.
Oh, that you're definitely right.
Yeah,
I mean, if you ever bring LaCroix to a party, like now it's a little bit different because like most of my friends that I hang out with on a regular basis actually enjoy them, which is great for me because it means we have less leftover soda in our fridge. Instead, we can just buy Bubblies and everybody will be happy. But like, if you ever like a few years ago, whenever LaCroix was really big, you clean up after a party, all of those cans are half full.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying is if they were Bubblies, I don't think that would have been true because I think Bubbly like there's some that are just good. Yeah, like they just taste good. Like I'm not a seltzer water guy. I love a bubbly. I love like Aha's are great.
Gabby's got a coconut LaCroix in the fridge right now, and she really likes coconut flavor. And the coconut LaCroix does taste like coconut. The problem is it also tastes like suntan lotion.
Yeah, they do. Liz, I forget which LaCroix Liz finally found that she liked, but it was like such a trendy thing. Influencers were drinking it. Yeah, and like she would get it and just like go buy a case of LaCroix, and she wouldn't buy any other drinks. I opened up one, took a sip, and I was like, this is terrible. Like, this is disgusting. I dumped out, never drank one again. And every night for dinner, she would open one and start drinking it. She'd act like she loved it. And I was like, Liz, I know you don't like that. I know you don't. And she's like, no, I do. And then after dinner, she'd walk over to the sink and just dump. I'm like, why are we buying this? They cost the same as a Diet Dr. Pepper. Can we please get Diet Dr. Pepper? Please. And she's like, no, it's so much better for you. I was like, I think get us water. We're just pouring money down the drain because no one likes LaCroix. LaCroix just somehow got on the influencer train. Yeah. Like, had it been Bubbly or something, I would have been completely different because nothing changed from LaCroix to Bubbly. Yeah. I didn't drink seltzer water in between.
Well, I do think that I just started drinking Bubbly to where like it made it a really, really trendy thing, and then it calmed down to just become a normal thing, and now companies like Bubbly and Waterloo and stuff like that can exist, because I think if they existed before LaCroix, before it became like hyper popular, it would have just never really been introduced into the American market.
Probably. You're probably right.
I think that LaCroix...
I feel obligated to try LaCroix now, because the past 2 weeks, I've had Bubbly and I've had Polar. Polar's been good. Bubbly's definitely the most flavor.
I think Polar,
I like the
like
blackberry,
towards
the black cherry Waterloo is my favorite. But
I've never had that brand.
Of LaCroix's, the only one I've ever liked from LaCroix has been the raspberry one. It's spelled like R-A-Z-Z berry. And
I think
that
Liz
one's
would get like
pretty
a pomegranate something.
I don't like that one.
But LaCroix, did y'all ever taste it was that hint water?
Yeah,
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
It's just like a hint, and like the water was fine, but basically what it was you just drank water, and then the aftertaste tasted like blueberries.
It'd be like
that
if
was
you're
LaCroix.
Drinking water and smelling blueberries.
That was LaCroix.
Exactly.
Yeah. It was just you're drinking carbonated mineral water, so it just burned, and then afterwards you'd be like, you know what? I think that did have a little blueberry in it.
Yeah, to me it's like if you drank carbonated water in your apartment, and someone in the apartment next door was screaming blueberry at the top of their lungs.
Yeah. Like, it just wasn't there. Like, there's no flavor. Now, there are some people, like my sister, just loves soda water.
Uh-huh.
That type of
just
person,
like
plain soda water.
Oh.
I think I could do it, but I wouldn't
could
choose
never.
to.
I think she would like LaCroix. Like, LaCroix to her would probably...
Yeah.
But the people that went soda straight to LaCroix... I don't think you enjoyed it. I think you're lying to me.
This is like a healthy soda, and then you take a sip, you're like, ah!
Well, like I really liked like in high school, I would get those ice things. Have you ever had those?
Yeah, but
bottles
those
of
still have a
ice?
ton of flavor though.
Yes,
Yes, they do have a lot of flavor.
They have
Yeah,
a lot
they're
of
good.
flavor. They're very good. But then my sister would buy these seltzer waters, and I'm like, "What is this? Like this is disgusting compared to ice.
Yeah.
Like I would never switch away from that." But
I
now,
think,
I'm like,
yeah, you know, I
okay.
think we have to credit LaCroix for bringing seltzer water to the American market because, as far as I can tell, before LaCroix, no one in America was drinking seltzer water except for the Puree, whatever, Pierre. I would see people drink
Oh,
those
the
every-
green bottles.
green bottle.
Yeah.
I would see people drink those
Like
every once in a
watermelon
while, but
flavor.
I just wasn't really convinced that people liked them. I just thought they kind of existed. But all right, I have an idea. So Silas,
Yes.
you've not been on the banter a ton of times,
Yeah.
so I
Correct.
feel like we need to just catch you up, like catch everybody up. We know your personality, we know you,
Sure.
but I feel like we need to catch everybody else up to where like everybody knows us on the banter at this point.
Yeah.
So me and Hunter are just gonna rapid fire question you.
Oh.
Oh.
Love it.
Just think of questions, Hunter. All right, ready? Favorite color,
Red.
Hunter. Next question.
Favorite subject in school?
Oh. None of the above. No. Subject? Are we talking about like core subject?
I don't know, man.
Think about typical core
You're
subject,
asking
like
the
growing
questions.
up, and now favorite subject in college.
Oh.
Oh,
Okay, core subject. Probably science.
nice.
Okay, big science guy.
And then
Big side guy.
And,
No.
ooh. In college?
Side guy, the side guy. Yeah, like college. Like what was
Side guy, the science guy. Side.
just tell everybody what you're studying in college.
I'm studying video production and video editing.
Hex yeah. I bet you that's gonna help us out.
I mean, that's my favorite so far.
All right, hit him with it. What if you could have a superpower? What would it be?
Man.
Don't say
that is-
X-ray vision, you pervert.
That is superpower. Fly. I want to be able to fly.
Okay.
Here's the
Yeah.
thing about
Get to
X-ray.
places
Fly dog.
so
Fly.
much faster.
Everybody always craps on if you say fly because like, oh, it's so stereotypical. Yeah, that's because it's freaking awesome.
It is.
Here's the thing about X-ray vision. You would just be seeing people's bones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, could you toggle it or no?
Anytime people say
Well, I'm
X-ray-
just saying.
X-ray
anytime
on.
people try to justify X-ray vision or being invisible, I think I know that you might not be choosing it for that reason, but I would never say it.
But X-ray
Like
vision.
I would never tell
people-
somebody I want to be invisible because like there's only one thing that comes to my mind. You're a pervert.
No, invisible. I think would be fun because like you could just hear conversations you're not supposed to hear.
Yeah, I know, but
That's
I just
true.
think you're a weirdo if you say
That's
invisible.
I would never choose invisible.
Yeah, because I don't want to be a weirdo.
I don't. Yeah. Well, no, I don't
But
want to be able to hear what
X-ray-
other people are saying.
X-ray
Yeah,
vision.
true. I don't want to know what everybody's saying.
X-ray
about
vision.
me.
I'm never choosing, mainly because, like, what is it? What
I
think
can't
an
think of a
X-ray.
time that I'd be benefited by X-ray vision.
Yeah, but also whenever people say like that X-ray vision is like creepy or disgusting, it's because people always think X-ray vision just means like I could just look at Connor and see him with his clothes off. Only Connor. But that's not how X-rays
it's called
work.
ginger vision.
Right.
Like an
It's just
X-ray,
bones. You just see
yeah,
your
like I would just be
bones.
looking
Well,
at Connor and
I
be
would
like,
assume that if you had
"Hey
the
man,
superpower,
you know that your L6 vertebrae is a little off."
I feel like if you had the superpower of X-ray vision, you could probably choose at which depth.
Well, then it's not
Like, you could
X-ray.
probably-
But
you
that's
probably
not
choose
X-ray.
what- that's not. That's
Can X-ray see just through clothes though?
Well, I think whenever you say X-ray vision, you
I
don't mean
no,
you
that's
see it
the
like
thing.
on a graph.
Yeah, no, like that's the connotation is like X-ray vision means like I could just see through this wall and look over there and I could see, but like, is that really X-ray vision?
I don't know. It doesn't exist.
No.
No, superpowers are real.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah. You didn't get those in the mail?
It would be nice if your doctor had X-ray vision, he could just walk in and be like, "Yep, broken, 3 places.
True.
We'll put pins here, here, and here."
And you wouldn't have to pay as much for it. Ooh,
You know,
or
you
they
probably
charge
pay
you
No,
more.
you probably
They
yeah,
They charge
more.
you even more because it's like instant.
Yeah.
It's like AI
You could
X-ray
do
vision.
you could do X-rays over FaceTime.
Or like in sports, you know the athletic trainer.
Why not?
Because if you
Wait,
did the
yeah,
X-ray,
what?
you'd just be
Your
looking,
phone?
you'd be like, I see my M1 chip is
Well, how does it?
running
How do you
good."
know?
I don't. But what would you X-ray? You can't X-ray through camera.
Why not?
How could you?
I'm a superpower,
Maybe they have special
dude.
cameras.
You can't tell me what I can and can't do. I'm a superhuman. All right, Silas. If you could go on vacation tomorrow, wherever you wanted to go by yourself, where would you go?
Who by yourself?
By myself.
Money is no issue.
Probably like Italy.
It's a good one.
I want to go out
Fun.
of country. I've
Yeah,
been
that's
to
cool.
Canada, nowhere else.
Ooh, Canada.
Well, if you go to Italy, you'd still be in a country. Just to let you know.
Yes.
I'm just kidding. Well, I'm not like technically that is true, but I'm just being difficult. All right, Hunter, hit him with
What state do you have left to visit all states?
Alaska, Hawaii.
That's it. He's visited the lower 48.
it. I'll tell you what. This guy, he's been around the U.S. He's
Might not have been
around
outside of Canada, but
Nope.
it's been around the U.S.
All right.
Nice.
Your first memory. No, I'm just kidding. One major time that you got in trouble in school.
Oh, deep questions.
Dang.
It doesn't have to be deep. Like it could be
No,
like a funny
I never
story.
got in trouble in school.
Hey, there we go. We know something about you now. I only ever got.
I
In
know-
trouble.
I
only ever
never
got in
did.
trouble for talking.
I never did. If back to your subject question, it was going to be yearbook
Yearbook's a good one.
because I was a designer
Me
That's
too.
for
That's very cool.
my yearbook.
Your
Graphic
yearbook was a
design.
lot more impressive than my yearbook.
Ooh. We went to New York City for it.
Yeah, we did not. We got nominated, but we knew we weren't going to win, so we didn't spend the money to go. Yeah.
Oh, we didn't have to pay for it. School paid for it.
Yeah, our school was not going to pay for it.
Oh.
Because, again, we knew we weren't going to win. But we got
It was a fun
nominated.
time. It was
That's
fun.
really
I would do
funny.
it again.
Did y'all
That's really
win?
funny.
Y'all win an award?
We won a award.
There you go.
I don't
what?
remember what.
I've never experienced a
I don't
yearbook
remember
class,
what.
so I don't.
That was
I don't
like
know what
8
is.
years ago.
Yearbook class was...
Or no, that was not 8 years ago.
No.
That was like 5.
Yearbook class was my
4.
all-time favorite class. I only took
Yeah.
it my senior year. Very upset that I only did it my senior year, but
I did junior and senior year. I
It
was
was amazing.
designer my senior year.
I was
Photographer junior year.
I was the head designer my senior year.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about graphic design, but basically how I ended up in yearbook was our yearbook teacher came into our homeroom. We were seniors, and they came into our homeroom and she said, I only had one person or 2 people sign up for yearbook. If some of y'all don't take yearbook, because seniors all had free periods. She's like, if some of y'all don't take yearbook, you won't have a senior yearbook. She's like, the one person, we're just going to have like a like free period class. So like, if some of y'all don't take yearbook, you won't have a senior
my
yearbook.
gosh.
Wow.
So like 5 of us just signed up for yearbooks. We were like, we're gonna eventually want a senior yearbook, and I got
Yeah.
a free period, whatever.
Yeah.
So like me, Liz, and like 3 other of my friends walked over and we're like, we'll take yearbook.
Oh, Liz was in your book.
Yeah, Liz was one of my designers,
Oh.
and so it was us, and then we convinced some of the middle schoolers who had like a rotating free period to come be like some were designers, some were photographers.
Yeah.
And so we ended up having like a 12 or 13 person staff, and we did it. It was great.
That's good.
It was very fun.
That's awesome.
Man.
I learned a lot about graphic design because I was just thrown into having to do a whole yearbook.
I know. Initially, I wanted to go into college for graphic design.
That's why I did, was yearbook.
I did not.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I don't know what my favorite class was in school.
Who was your
I
favorite
hated
teacher?
School. I don't know.
You didn't have a single teacher in high school that you were just like,
I liked a lot of my teachers in high school.
who's your favorite though? Your favorite teacher now, Connor. Go now. You have to decide right now.
That's a tough one. That's a really tough one.
They're all dead.
I really enjoyed English. I've always really enjoyed English, except for when we got into grammar. I did not enjoy grammar. It's too mathy for me.
What did y'all read any? It kind of is.
Yeah, well, that's
grammar feels mathy.
The reason I love English is that I can be right, and if I'm not technically right, I can convince you why I am. And like that's what I always loved, analyzing and annotating text. I hated reading, which was really funny, why I liked English, but I hated reading, but I loved reading a couple paragraphs and analyzing what the meaning was. I really enjoyed that. And I loved that my teacher could be like, well, according to the book, according to like our teacher book, what the author meant by this was this. And I'd be like, well, if you look at the chapter before, he actually uses its word in this way. So I think that he actually means this. And then I love the feeling of my teacher being like, you know what, the book says like our teacher book says differently, but I think that makes a lot more sense. I'm like, yes, that's fun. And then they'd be like, use a comma there or a semicolon.
Yep.
And I'd be like, what is this,
It
algebra?
basically just turned into like organic chemistry.
So
Yeah.
bad at those.
Did y'all ever?
so bad.
What were like the books y'all had to read, like for literature? Did
Great
y'all have like
Gatsby.
Oh.
Great
We had to read
Gatsby?
Great
you read?
Gatsby.
Oh,
We
yeah,
read
yeah.
Fahrenheit.
We read Scarlet Letter.
Yeah. Did you read Scarlet Letter?
I don't remember reading Scarlet Letter.
We read Scarlet Letter, Pilgrim's Progress, and Beowulf were my 3.
Yeah, I remember
Beowulf,
Beowulf.
yeah.
And what's the
Lord
other
of the
one?
Flies. That was
I didn't read that one.
The other
Lord
one
of
is the
the
one
Flies.
where they like the witches with the Salem witch trial one.
Scarlet Letter.
No, it's the maybe it was the Scarlet Letter. No, they like the dude got like crushed by rocks at the end.
I don't know.
I can't remember
Oh,
what it's called.
another one, The Hatchet.
I didn't read that.
Yes. Oh, yes,
Hatchet,
I remember
Connor?
that. That we read that in middle school.
Yeah, that was like
I
a
remember
middle school
that.
book.
I loved that book.
I don't know why I
I don't remember
that.
anything about it, but I know I loved
It's
it.
like the guy was like stranded on an island. and, like,
Yeah,
had to
I really liked
survive
that.
I don't
or
think I read
something.
that one.
I really liked Great Gatsby, believe it or not. I enjoyed reading it. It was like the only book I was ever assigned in school that I actually read. It was middle school. I did read The Hatchet, I guess.
Did y'all ever do the like extracurricular summer reading
Heck
programs?
no, dude. I hated reading.
We had one because if I read enough books, I got like free pizza, and the
Yeah.
Hardy Boys were all on there, and I read the Hardy Boys for fun anyways. So I
yeah.
just cranked
Okay.
out some Hardy Boys.
I wish I
I never
wish
did that. I wish I did.
I think that reading was made a little too like schooly for me from the beginning because my grandma was a teacher, and so as a kid, like she made it to where like you have to read for 30 minutes or you can't go play outside or you can't watch TV, which is fine. Like that's not a bad thing to do, obviously, but since
it just
was,
makes
like,
it feel like a punishment.
it felt like it felt like a like mandatory, like it didn't feel like I get to go have fun doing this. Well, like I know like some of my close friends, they've got 3 kids and their kids absolutely love reading. It's like their fun time and they're like sporty kids. It's not like they're just like nerds. Like they're like really sporty kids, love playing outside and everything, but like they would rather read than watch TV. And I think at the end of the day, that's not true because they also love watching TV, but it's just like limited. I think any kid that loves reading, you put in front of a TV, they're going to have a great time.
I'm like, dude, these are like the words that come into life.
It's like, there's so much going on right now. But
Why was I reading this? I can just watch it. It only takes 2 hours to watch Lion Witch in the Wardrobe. I better read 6 books.
But they like love reading, and I think that it's just because like it was like a mandatory must do this. Again, like it felt like a punishment. I hated it so much. I never gave it a chance, which I hate. I really wish that I loved reading whenever I was a kid. That's like one of the things I've always wanted to change about myself. But you know what? I love
Well,
reading now.
you love it now.
Yeah.
That's all that matters, man.
I went through a lot of like periods. I still do, where like I love reading and then I hate it. As a kid, though, that was like on and off, on and off. I read like the Hardy Boys, loved them. Then like the next summer, I'd hate it. And then I forget. We just talked about the books on here. I forget what they were now. It was like Alex Rider or something.
I did the Magic Treehouse books.
Yeah, those were good too.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember reading a
Forgot
little bit
about
of some of those.
I would just read like the first 2 pages of each chapter and then take the little test on them and
That's funny.
get like 70%. But
I
hey,
was-
I passed.
I was very good at inferring what happened in the books.
Well, the worst thing that happened was
I was really good at reading like 2 pages in a book and making it sound like I had read the entire thing. I was
read-
very good at that.
I actually read Scarlet Letter because that was a fascinating book. I think I actually read Pilgrim's Progress as well. Did not read Beowulf because I discovered by that point Cliff Notes. And once you discover Cliff Notes,
Yeah. I think that was like my junior year.
Yeah,
yeah.
once
you
and
discover
Spark
Cliff Notes,
too.
like-
Also,
I would come into homeroom and be like, oh, shoot, we have a quiz on the last 3 chapters of Beowulf.
yeah.
Cliff Notes, scroll.
Yeah.
Okay. And then all the questions from the quiz were in Cliff Notes.
Well,
You just get
also,
100 on it.
when I had to read that book, we had a new teacher. And so with the new teachers, you get a little leniency. They
Yes.
don't know exactly what they're doing yet. And so she gave us a lot of grace.
I'm trying to figure
It was
out what the
amazing.
name of that book was. It's gonna kill me.
Tell
I'm
us
gonna
more about
look
it.
up. How about this? I'm just gonna Google typical books that are assigned to you in school, and we're just gonna see how many we relate with.
Did y'all ever do Accelerator Reader?
No, you asked me
AR
about that the other day.
AR program thing?
I did apparently because my mom found this
was
letter.
awful.
My mom found this letter that I wrote to, like, it was like part of some school thing for Christmas. I wrote a letter to, we had like a pen pal in Guatemala or something, I think he was. And my mom found where she'd like scanned to copy one of my letters. And in it, I was telling him about a stretch class, and I forgot it existed. It was just called Stretch. but it was
You like
basically
do stretches?
no. That's literally in the end. I said, I know it sounds like it's a class where I stretch, but it's a reading class.
Oh,
But I think it might have been like accelerated reader.
okay.
But,
But
how
you
I
like read
described
the
it,
book and then you take a quiz on the book, but it's like very specific questions. So it'd be like, what did John do over here outside his house?
I don't know. I don't.
And then you
I
got
don't
four
fully
answers.
remember. I just remember stretch was like a period, kind of like recess, that we would go to the library and you just sit down and read.
Oh, okay.
That's all I remember about it. But it
Oh,
was in
I like
elementary
that way
school.
better.
Yeah, it was in elementary school.
Man.
But I don't really remember much past that. All right, while Connor still tries to figure that out, I'm gonna get up the wheel of names to see who's on this next week. Wheel of names.
Oh, I'm not gonna be here next week, Hunter. So you can
Haha, 3.
spin it 3 times.
Well, Brad's also not gonna be here, so it's just me, Trevor, and Silas.
Oh,
Look at that. Well, let's still spin the wheel. I think we
Okay.
owe that to the wheel.
I'll just spin the wheel, and if it
Seat
lands
1,
on
2,
someone
and
who's
3.
not here, should I just throw Jason on the wheel just in case the wheel
Dude.
doesn't want to pick Trevor?
Throw Jason on the wheel. Yes.
So
Spin
Silas,
it 3
Trevor,
times. Yeah.
Hunter, Jason.
Dude, did you guys have to read Fahrenheit 451 in school? I loved that crap, dude. It was basically just a full book of conspiracy, and I love that.
All right, let's spin this. Jason hasn't agreed to be on the wheel, so if it lands on him.
It
Yeah,
might.
but he's not going to say no. He would love that.
Hunter.
All right, it's me first.
Okay. I hope it's Jason so bad.
Spin.
It might be. Yep.
Jason. Me and Jason so far. Now it's between
wow.
Trevor and Silas. Oh, man. If this lands on
50-50.
Silas, that's going to be so funny.
Trevor hasn't been on in
Trevor hasn't
a
been
long
on since we
time.
started the wheel
Yeah.
of names. Here we go.
Oh, it's Trevor.
No.
Oh!
It's going to be Trevor. It's Trevor.
Okay.
All right,
Trevor.
me, Trevor, and Jason. Unless Jason doesn't want to be on, then me, Trevor, and Silas.
I think Jason will. Everybody, drop a comment down below. Say we want Jason. You guys might not know Jason, but you want Jason. Trust me, he's gonna
There
have
you
a
go.
lot of.
I'll sit in the
stuff to
producer chair next week. I'll be the
Heck
switcher.
yeah. I'll
That's
keep
gonna
it
be
warm.
fun.
Keep it warm for me, man.
I will. I'll
No scratches.
keep her nice and warm. I'll keep her toasty for you. I'll eat beans for breakfast. What random noise do we make, Connor?
The sound that we would assume that an anteater would make if it was trying to intimidate you. I'll go first.
Okay.
Looking at the size of their mouths, I think they go like this.
This is what I think they do. Oh, nice. That is probably the most accurate. I
That
would
probably
say.
is the most. I like to think they'd be like, "Oh!"
There it is.
You're welcome for that. For your ears.